All right, welcome to the second video regarding JSON in Swift 4. Now, we're going to look at the second example. In the first example, we looked at a simple JSON object. This one has a JSON object, but with array. Okay, and we have an array that holds experience, and these are the different values in that array. So what are we going to do? Remember what we did in the first class? You need to have a structure that reflects that. I'm going to keep that structure because we need it. Copy. I'm going to paste it. And we're going to call that example 2. Right? Now, you can't have the same name, so I'm going to call that with array. Okay, this structure has an array. All right. The array is a string. So how do we do that? If you go to here, just to make sure I don't misspell anything, I go back to the view controller. Here is my structure with the array. I'm going to put them in here. Now, it's okay to have data in the JSON file, but you don't need to define it in here. For example, I'm going to delete age. Sorry, I'm going to delete age, and I'm just going to have those 3 fields, even though age is actually in the data. So name is okay, department is okay. Now we have a new field, and that field is called experience. Okay. I'm done with these, so I'm going to delete those except for the experience. What do we need to do with the experience? Experience is actually an array of strings. All right? That is the new structure. So that's what we do first, right? We look at the data, we create the structure that matches that data. So if we go back to the data, this is the structure that matches that data, even though they're sending me age, but I don't need it in this application, so I'm just showing you a different example. I'm not gonna define it in my structure, but you can if you want to. All right. So here is the second structure. What do? We do the same thing that we've done before. Remember that example 1? I can just copy this guy here. Copy. And then paste it. And then now it's called example 2. All right. What file name we're reading? We're reading a different file name here. It's called employee with array. And I am going to change that, the file name that we're reading, to employee with array. Again, now if we have data, we're going to define a decoder, convert the data into a structure, or decode it into a structure, and then process the result. Now, we have a different structure here because we have arrays, right? So what structure do we use? We use the one that we just created, which is what? Employee with array and self. So, but instead of this, we'll do this, Command V, employee with array and self. So we got salary, but salary is not defined. So I'm going to delete salary, but I got name. What about the array now? How do we handle array? Well, array, once you decode the value into an array, the attribute into an array, then the processing becomes easy. So you say for E in what? In result dot experience. What are we going to do? We're going to print out the result. So the experience. So you can say print experience. And then we will have multiple values here. You say result, or here it's just an E, because for every object in that array, we're going to print out the value. Okay. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, so let me just recap what we've done. This example is different than the previous example. We have a value, an attribute that is defined as an array. This array could be string, integer, doubles, booleans, whatever. In the view controller, in the second example that we have done, changed the, anyway, I switched this around. All right, I modified example one. Let's call that example one. We modified example one instead of example two. All right, so this is example two. So what do? We're gonna read, oh my God, it's a mix match. It's okay, this is with array, I think that's the name of it, yeah. And this is just employee here. That's the problem with copying and pasting. This one is example one. All right, so this is example two. So we can reading the file with array, and then create the decode object, decode the data that you receive into the structure. If there are no errors, print out the name. And because we have an array, for every object in that array, I'm gonna print it. And now, all we need to do is call these functions that we just created. And this function is going to say, instead of example one, we're gonna have example two, run it. And hopefully it would work and there are no errors. Okay, you see that? You got the employee name, experience one, experience two, experience three, and then experience four. Okay, so that is how to read an JSON data with array, JSON object with an array, all right? The next example, I'll show you how to read a JSON object and it has an object within it. A little bit more complex, but it will be very useful because a lot of data you receive has this format. I'll see you in the next video.